Okay, welcome back to our part 2 of a 3-part series on hips and shoulders focus. So we've just done our shoulder opener. Now we're going to come into some mobility through our hips and through our hamstrings before we work through our hips. So, down dog. So hands shoulder apart, feet hips shoulder apart. You want to be in like a plank position, chest over hands, and simply press back. Common fault, people work these hands back to try and get those heels down. This is not correct. You need to be here and press your chest back to your thighs. So, I'm going to bring my hands in a little closer for this particular exercise. Pushing my chest back to my thighs for a little bit of a stretch for my glutes. So we're going to do a series of lunges, but keeping our hands here. Lunges to down dog. So probably about 10 each side. Or I'll do a little less because it'll be too hard on me. So here we go. Going to bend those knees, going to spring forward, left leg outside of left hand, leg straight, so not drop down through the air, chest forward. Yep. I'll hold for a couple of seconds, a couple of breaths, and I'll step back to down dog, chest back to thighs, again, a couple of breaths. And the other foot, right hand, whoa, that's tough. Lift thigh, chest forward. And notice the back is not rounded, gonna bring that chest right forward and then get back nice and flat, really important. We don't want to be here, we want to be chest over hands and that leg's nice and strong. Step back. So see how we're gonna carry on. So, remember, long straight leg at the back, chest forward, back as flat as you can make it. So this is a pretty tough series. What would be worse would be Cossack pose. Thankfully we won't be doing that today. Man, it's tough. Oh yeah. We've got about one more left in me to be fair. Super strong, super tough. So last set, one more each side. Alright, last one. Step back. So bring the hands back to shoulder apart, feet hips on apart. Press my chest back with my thighs, lay my heels down as I can for a normal down dog. Alright, this feet in. We're going to come into a standing straddle. So I'll show you both side and from the front so you can see what I'm doing. So, feet quite wide as you can go without destroying yourself. And hands directly below shoulders, so here, yep. Even pressure through the feet. And we want to have a as flat as you can, flat back. So if I show you from the side, here, we want to avoid this action, yeah? So how do we do that? So we lay the belly down, bring the chest forward, and the back will naturally flatten. You try to lift the seat bones up towards the ceiling. So instead of tilting up, you're tilting down towards the floor, and then lifting the chest, pressing the chest forward, so standing straddle, yeah? Yeah. We'll do the hard one first. So, toes going to face out, 45 degrees, going to bend through both knees, and we're going to come on down. So really hard, right into the psoas region, the groin. Come back up, fingertips, those feet parallel again. My gaze looking straight down. That was hideous. Equally as hideous, but not as bad, I don't reckon, is with straight legs. So simply, with straight legs, and come straight down. It's coming up, down the fingertips. It was pretty nasty. So this should hopefully feel a whole lot better being up here than where we were before. So now we're going to work through our shoulders again and staying in this position. So I'm going to take my left hand here, place the palm down between my imaginary two hands. Again, shoulder, hand in line. Then you're going to lift up the other arm towards the ceiling. Yeah, just where you can. Yeah. Some of you might be out here, that's okay. She'll work through drawing that arm back as you can. So a lot of pressure in the hand. You really want to make sure you lift it through here. So pressing into the hand, lift it through here, the other hand can come up as best you can, yeah? So combined shoulder stretch, shoulder working really is quite tough on both the arm that's lifted and the hand on the floor. And gently down, let's change sides to other hand in that placement. Shoulder, oh, side sore. Other arm's gonna come up. Oh, really work hard to bring the arm back as best you can. And check down, back onto fingertips. That was pretty tough, really hard on those shoulders, but really good for them too. Out of this, going to slide this foot in and bring it out of the way again. Yeah. So now we're going to go through some of the hip series. So we're going to do a rocking pigeon first, and then we'll just do a static pigeon. So I'll use my right leg first. So knee, the outside of that foot on that 45-degree angle. Other limb stretched long. So I'm going to press my toes along the floor to get my pelvis as close to the floor or the top of that heel as I can. My heel here. Fingertips, so we want to be as tall as possible. We don't really want to be here. So we're going to roll our shoulders back, lift the chest, and sink down through the pelvis. Yeah. And you want to come on down to forearms. So, rock and roll pigeon. My right butt cheek, I'm going to inhale a breath. I'm going to inhale as I press my butt cheek down towards the floor. Exhale and return back to the starting position, yeah? So you're moving on your breath. Be careful not to go too far too quickly. Again, important to listen to your body. I find this movement more about mobility of the hip than a static stretch. So we'll do a static stretch shortly, but you get that mobility into that hip area first. Being actually really good today. I've had my 2 litres of water. It makes a huge difference to my ability to stretch properly without getting cramp. It helps me sleep better, and I end up eating less food because I'm hydrated. So it could be something for you to think about. Can I honestly admit that I hated water to begin with. I found it really tough. I used to put stuff in it, like almond milk to make it taste a bit better, and over time it's less milk and more water, and then just water. So it doesn't have a taste. It's just good to get it down because I know it's going to help me in all my performance, in the diet, and of course sleeping. Now. I'm now going to make the stretch a little harder, so you can simply come down with your forearms, bring yourself out, bring your chest down, or if you can want to make it a little bit harder from a 45-degree angle, just bring it foot a bit further in, 50 degrees, 60, 70, 80, or even 90, which is where I'm going to go. So that limb parallel to the front of my mat, I'll roll onto that hip, onto that kneecap. It's really tough. This is my particularly bad side, but however, gotta make it work, right? So we're here. First nice and tall through the back, rocking shoulders back, and then come forward onto forearms. Now I can slowly feel my foot sliding back as the pressure on my limb, so I'm going to just make this a little harder for myself by wrapping my elbow under that foot to stop that coming back. And it feels so naughty, nasty. Oh yeah. Take it under there. Just put a little pressure on that foot. Oh wow. Starting to feel better. See how much further I can go. We'll come out of this. Oh, it comes down dog briefly. Oh, step back. Wow. Oh, the resting. Super hard, eh? It really is. And it'll come to the other side. Other knee, to other wrist. And the outside foot in close. Press those toes along the floor. Fingertips. Sinking down to the hips. From the chest. And coming on down. And then rock and roll pigeon, yeah? So again, inhale, press the butt cheek down to where you can. Exhale, turn to the top. So in some of my teachings I've learned to be realistic and honest in some of these poses, and the fact that I will, you'll hear me groan and pant a bit because I'm not going to be fake and pretend that none of the stuff hurts, because it really does, it's really, really hard on the body. It's important to be real, being honest, and being humble that, you know, some days the body will work like it's supposed to and some days it won't. And that's just life, right? It's just being real. Every time you get your yoga mat out, don't necessarily want to think about how well we did the day before or where you should be. It's a new day, it's a new mat if you like, it's a new session. Just going to do what we think is appropriate. Not push too far too quickly. It's also consciously knows that, you know, if you're doing some more miles or you're doing some more gardening or some more cycling or whatever you do, it's going to have an effect. I can honestly say that after every yoga class, I usually feel really good, and the next morning I feel pretty tight and sore from the stretches I've done, and that is normal. Yep. And sometimes you might not feel anything at all, and that's okay. We don't have to feel pain or discomfort after a yoga series the next day. It's very common to feel soreness. Your body's moving in a way it's not used to. Alright, we're going to go a little further. So with a static stretch, bring the foot out that a little further from 90 to, 45 to 90. Oh, wow. Slowly bring myself down, put pressure on that foot and stop it slowing. Bring myself down if I can. And really key to focus on the breathing. If you just focus on the pain, it ain't going to feel good. So we want to acknowledge discomfort. Yeah? Acknowledge discomfort. Breathe. And allow yourself to ease. And we're talking about pain. We don't want that excruciating pain. If it's excruciating, we've gone too far too quickly. So if we think about 1 to 10, 1 being dead or asleep, and 10 being excruciating pain, somewhere around 8 is as high as you want to go. If anything, 6 or 7 is better. I'm probably getting that close to a 7 at the moment. Started like an 8 when I first started, but I knew that just by being in the pose, relaxing through my body, focusing on breath, the ease begins. Yeah? Come out of this. Bring that leg around. I've got some more arm hips to do. But that's the 20 minutes of that series 2, and series 3 will start pretty shortly.